Aren't there many good women players? Why do women suck compared to men at everything? Please tell us, Doug.
Get ready. Fake news Doug on the way.
So I'm getting canceled after this one. Is that what's going on? No, anyway.
No, we've survived. You'll be okay.
You just can decide not to be canceled, it turns out. So I think there's a few things that go into that. And I think the first one is men are just more drawn to compete in like random bullshit than women, right? Like men will compete over like the most insane like you ever at like a party and like beer pong, I'll fucking kick your, like men are like in there just like trying. That's just not that's really a men thing, is to just like compete endlessly on random shit. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I think that there's like more of a stereotype for women that like being involved in gambling is bad. Like for men, I feel like whatever path you trailblaze, like good for him, he figured it out. But for women, I feel like there are certain lanes that are like viewed to be sort of improper.
Absolutely, it's traditionally a trashy environment where the poker game would be, right? Especially for a woman, she might be the prostitute upstairs. If this is an old West gambling establishment, she's probably going to be in a bustier on a gambler's knee or something, not sitting at the table. And then like in modern.
Kyle,
modern times,
what century do you think we're playing poker in these days?
I'm going traditional. I'm taking it back a century or two.
He's a purist, Doug, not like you.
Yeah,
but even some of the places that I would play in that were like bars that were kind of sketchy, like I don't know, there were pictures of naked ladies all over the walls, and like half a motorcycle was built into the bar. Like it wasn't a place for ladies.
Sounds awesome.
I think that plays a big role to it.
Great.
And there's two last things I think that are like maybe a little more controversial, but so like if you look at men and women's interests, men are like an order of magnitude more interested in like science and math and like stuff like that, and women are an order of magnitude more interested in like people and like emotion and things like that. So
sure,
games that are science and math based will naturally draw men more. And then the last thing, and I think this is actually a huge thing, and it's a big reason in almost all games why men tend to dominate. If you look at the distribution of men's intelligence, it's way wider. So like men and women on average are roughly the same intellect, but men have like some real dipshits, and then we have like the like smartest people ever. They're like both men mainly. So our curve is way bigger, and that's why when you look at the best of anything, it's a little more likely to be men, in my opinion, because it skews towards like the that end of the distribution. So
yeah, all that checks out.
If you don't understand that data, you're probably a woman.
Which means you're not listening to this. Which means you're not listening to the show right now. So
I was just waiting for Taylor to chime in on his big head theory that always comes up when we talk about intelligence. Like, bigger brains are better.
The size of the brain band is all that matters.
The bigger the head, the bigger. I have a book from 1874 that has a lot to teach you. Actually, I think it's from like 18. I bought a phrenology book on the internet. It wasn't even on Amazon. It was on some they republish old scientific documents. And actually, I shouldn't do the quotes because a lot of it is old scientific stuff, but there's a lot of goofy stuff in there too. And this textbook from like 1820 is like phrenology or like facial structures, and it's like drawings of like the face of a suspicious man, and it's like a hook nose and like beady eyes, and it'll show like someone with like I think it's called an like occipital bump or hump or something on the back of the skull. Some people have.
You gotta get that taken off.
Yeah, you just got to get that ground off. Well, this guy would have agreed because he said that's a sign that someone is not conscientious. And so throughout the whole book, it's like, and some of it checks out. You'll like look at a face and it's like looks like some Italian bruiser from a mafia movie, but this was 200 years ago, and the guy's like, never trust a man with this jaw width. And then like all his reasoning for it, and a lot of his reasons is like, yeah, this guy I knew, you wouldn't believe it. So
what percentage of your guys' audience is men versus women? Because you can see all the data.
It's got to be like 95.5.
The stats would say like 98% are men, but I bet half of those women are lying.
Yeah, that's true. We've got Woody's mom.
Yes, it watches every minute.
Nice. Woodworth.
That's about all of it. Yeah, you can tell when our sponsor segments come around in the show that it's almost all men. Yeah. Women don't take our cum volume increasing supplement.
They're
just
not big on Blue Chew.
It's just for the boys. Lock and load.
It's for everyone. Yeah, it is.
I don't know. We
ends up
haven't
being
run those.
for
We haven't
everyone.
run those tests. Yeah, it does end up being for everyone in the end. That's
Yeah,
true.
I think Taylor missed the
going.
joke.
Oh,
That's where I was going.
I was on the. Nah.
My audience is 97.3% men, and so it's a very, very similar. Poker is pretty male heavy.
There are
Yeah.
some women. Often what happens is guys will they'll listen to us with their girlfriends, and then their girlfriends will start listening, and they'll end up being. I've heard that many times.
Yeah, the same.
From their girlfriends.
from the girlfriend, the ones that hop into our hangout to get fucked.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We have a Patreon hangout we do if you're a $50 a month member, and we just have a great time in there. We haven't had a fuck show in a stage though. That makes me feel bad. We used to have a couple who would come in. It's a big video conference call with like 25 of us, the three of us and like 22 fans, and we do like 6 hours of this shit a month. And there was one couple that they'd really go at it. They'd fuck on camera, and it made Taylor so awkward.
I'm not sure what was better, the banging or Taylor's reaction to it.
It was so inappropriate.
It would be, and it's as dry as if in this call right now, another person were to introduce themselves, and just two people were to have not great sex while we sat and had a conversation.
Yeah.
And then we're all talking, and that's happening in one of the squares.
Yeah, just right there.
It was like
Every now and then you hear like a pussy getting slapped a few times.
Oh man, it's like that meme where it's like the giant horde of people, and then the one guy in the front saying, "You're all wrong." That was me, because I would steal a gaze up there because you can't avoid it, and I'm like, you couldn't have picked up the room. You couldn't have cleaned the room up behind you. This is sad. This seems sad. And weird.
you were upset that it was a dirty room.
Well, I was upset about the whole cavalcade of events that were unfurling. Which
everything I hear about it is good, except for the amount of penis. The penis to titty ratio apparently is just way out of whack. But that's modern media in general.
That's modern media in general. That's honestly one of the worst things that's happening to our country right now. Is that the penis to titty ratio is fucking out of whack, and I won't stand for it, Kyle. We have to band together and do something about this.
Zach, show a gif of an American flag waving.
I mean, I agree. I'm showing my penis every opportunity now.
No, that's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of what we're saying, Woody.
I thought we were on the same team.
No, we want more titties and less needless dick.
I
To
think
be fair, his name is Woody. To be fair,
Yes.
He's just.
I think that it is a targeted attack on our morals and our society by some sort of a cabal. No, not the entire group, but a cabal, a secret slice of the male gay community, an angry older 45-year-old white gay man. Okay, these guys they have been shunned to the side. Back in the 80s and the 90s, they were the all-stars. Those were they stormed the beaches of Normandy for the gays. And now what do you have? The whole LGBTQ plus has left them by the wayside. They don't need the 45-year-old gay white man anymore.
This is like the Chappelle bit.
So that group of men is trying to change society. The gloves are off. They're like, okay, fine. And it's all cocks. It's all cocks and male asshole. And it's no titties anymore. Never will you see like frivolous titties anymore. I never ever see it anymore. Just like a giggly pair of bouncy titties for the fuck of it before someone gets stabbed or hops in the pool or goes for the shower. I've seen every male hero's ass. Every one of them has to get in the shower and show me his fucking ass. I don't care that you're caked up, bro. Get back to punching bad guys, okay? It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I watched The Boys. We're not just looking at cocks. We crawled inside one. We're walking down the fucking urethra of a cock
It was
with one of our heroes.
Superhero. Yeah.
We're exploring that bitch like Gulliver's Travels or some type shit. Some sort of perverted Gulliver's
That was
Travels
years
nightmare.
ago. We made fun of how absurd and retarded that was, and you guys are still watching that.
It's
And
a
so,
good show.
Kyle,
It
you
takes
can
a side.
hate on these pro-dick, anti-tit norms all you want, but you're contributing to the issue by watching a show that's at the forefront of it. So put your money where your mouth is.
Pirate
Can
the
we- can we-
show.
also-
I pirate the show. Okay,
Fair. I didn't know you were stealing. I wouldn't have said it if I knew you were stealing.
Not stealing. It's pirating.
Maybe we need to tap into our 1.2% female audience here and ask them, like, because I feel like men,
Boo.
when we see titties, it's like, sweet, this is great.
But for women, are like, oh, nice, some dong. Like, I just don't see that being quite like
No,
that.
it's not.
All right. I'll take one for the team. Mom, would you comment?
Mom, yeah, Woody's mom,
I like
fucking
it.
comment. Yeah, no,
I like it when they
it's
hang a
definitely
little
different.
dong. Law and Order could use a little cock in it, if you ask me. Oh, that
No,
Ice-T, I bet he hangs dong.
You want to see Ice-T's dick? Or
Yeah,
Woody's
Law
mom
and Order
does?
SVU.
What about actually, no, I don't want to see any more dicks on TV. I want to see, actually, the dicks are fine if they're balanced out by, and I don't remember what my rule was, because I had a good rule for this, where it's like for every instance of male nudity, there have to be 4 instances of female nudity.
So you're going DEI on this.
I'm going DEI.
I would go like for like on this. I would say, you know what? You guys are aiming too low with your titties for every penis. I want to see vagina for every penis and chest for chest. Let's make it equal and remove this lopsided scorekeeping thing.
See, what you've done there is actually we were talking about genius, Woody.
You know what?
This is my area of genius.
We were talking about
I'll meet
genius,
you
and Woody
halfway.
just nailed it because Woody said chest for chest. Men's chests are out all the time, so there's going to be a huge. They're going to have to be like at the bank showing tits just to make sure that the Woody test is fulfilled. Like
So they have an opportunity to do something very smart here. The new Odysseus movie by Christopher Nolan's coming out next year, I think. And Elliot Page is in that, formerly Ellen Page. If Elliot Page pulls out his big old clit, I think that would break a lot of barriers. I think we need to see that.
That's genius. And to be honest, I'm curious.
Oh, he's got a fat chode of a clit.
That
down
dude's
there.
on a lot of tea. That's
a lot of conflicting words.
No, it's not. No, it's not. They're all complimentary words. A fat chode of a clit down there. It's absolutely it's short. It's very very large around. Like it's like a can.
So my code on this new poker site is code Doug. And so I've been playing everyone when I said it's code Doug. And this guy sat me the other day across the table and his screen name was Chode Doug. So I had to play versus Chode Doug. Chode Doug is winning my money and then leaves. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to say about that.
He beat you? That's so funny.
What do you even say about that? Like,
all right, we're going to end the stream for today, guys. Stream's over.
People. That's why I think there's so few funny female comedians, because they just get a pass. Like the girls don't usually rip on the ugly girl. Not the way that guys do. They like shun her from the group and she goes and stuff and becomes or something. But guys will just like rip on the fat guy in the group all the time. They're like, Slim Dave is here. What's up, Slim? What's up, Skinny Mike? And the dude's 400 fucking pounds. Like
and then that guy's wit becomes, I don't know, iron sharpened iron.
Girls are more sinister with it because they'll like compliment their big fat ugly friend and be like, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy. And it's like, that's so, you're like doing this weird thing where if if I had a friend who was like 4'10" and retarded, and I was always like, no, you're rich and you're smart and you're handsome and you get a ton of pussy. In my head, I'm like, yeah, and I'm way better than that guy who gets a ton of pussy. And it's like, that's what it feels like girls are doing in those situations. Like, no, chop your hair off, get a pixie cut and gain 30 pounds, girl. And then inside they're like, haha, another one under me now.
Have you guys watched? I haven't watched the last episode or two, but you've been watching the White Lotus, the new season.
I haven't seen any of it.
How is it?
Okay,
I've seen it get a lot of attention on Reddit.
So far, it seems pretty good. But there's this is obviously not a spoiler, but just like it'll. Have you guys seen the last seasons 1 or 2? White Lotus.
No, I haven't seen any of the show.
Okay, so the idea of White Lotus is just like you follow 3 or 4 groups of people around a vacation resort, right? And it's like the first couple episodes. Well, it's like a little murder mystery-esque. You don't know what's going to happen. Like some shit's going to go down, whatever. And so this season, there's this group of cougars. They're probably women, and they're like 40, 45 or whatever. And it's just following their interpersonal dynamics. And it's just so funny because of how catty it is. And they highlight how unbelievably mean these women are to each other for just no reason. You're just following them, and it's just hilarious to me.
Is it scripted or is this
yeah? It's a massive show on HBO. I think it's
a massive show.